What is up, guys? It's Ozzy here. I just finished watching the Supergirl season one uh, final episode, and yeah, so I'm gonna basically give my review on the entire season. So obviously, this felt exactly like the Flash season one to me, the beginning of the season, because the beginning of Flash felt really cheesy, really kind of like choppy and stuff, and this is exactly how Supergirl started off, and I was kind of worried, but then it started to get better and better and better, and I'm just gonna guess that's gonna be like the Flash by Flash season like two and three, like it's gonna be like really good, and it has been really good. And that's exactly what I think Supergirl is going to be doing. So, without further ado, let's talk about some of the characters in the show this season. So, the first character I'm obviously going to talk about is Supergirl herself. And I think this casting was probably the best out of everybody in the entire cast. Casting Melissa Benoist was pretty much perfect. She looks the part, she acts the part, and overall, she was just really, really good. And I loved every little performance that she gave. She brought tons of emotion. Uh, she was just an awesome character, and she played so well. She played a really good Supergirl because personally, this is the first time I've ever seen Supergirl on screen with a real actor. I don't know if it's ever been done before, but this is the first time I've ever seen it personally, and she did an amazing job. And yeah, I really liked her. The second actor I want to talk about is Mikado Brooks. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He was playing Jimmy Olsen, so he's a pretty iconic character too. Personally, I think he did all right. He wasn't anything too spectacular. Like he didn't have too many like really deep scenes or anything like that. He did play a love interest for Kara, which I didn't really buy into until maybe like the last couple episodes because he was like back and forth with a different girl, and I don't know, it was just really confusing. But yeah, he was all right. He played a pretty decent Jimmy Olsen. The cheesiness of his little watch, though, I know that's in the comic books and all that, but I think they probably could have stayed away from that. But whatever, he's got to talk to Superman somehow. So yeah, he was all right. The next actor is, I think her name's Calista Flockhart. That's a pretty weird name, but she played Cat Grant, and she did really good. Like this was another casting that I absolutely loved. She was awesome. She was really emotional at some point. She was a hard ass a lot of the times, and overall, I thought she was pretty good. And the next main actor that's in the show is a girl named Kyler or Chyler, Lay or Leia, I'm not too sure. But she plays Kara's sister, Alex, and personally, I think she was alright too. Like, she had some pretty good moments, she had some okay moments. Her backstory was kind of weird. She was like a really party girl, and then uh, David Harewood's character just kind of comes in, just takes her in to the DO, and then all of a sudden she's a secret agent. So that I was kind of iffy on that part, but other than that, she was pretty good. She had a lot of emotional scenes with Melissa Benoist, Supergirl, and I really liked that. It really showed that kind of relationship really well to me. The next actor who played Win. Um, I honestly didn't know his name was Win until maybe four episodes before the finale. I honestly had no idea what his name was. He wasn't that important or anything. He had like one episode dedicated to him and his backstory kind of thing, but other than that, I honestly had no idea what his name is. But the actor's name that plays him is Jeremy Jordan. Personally, I think he did okay for the role he had because obviously it wasn't a super emotional role. He didn't have too much to do. Like he wasn't that important of a character. He was just kind of there. But yeah, he was okay. The next character, which I really liked, which was David Harewood as the director of the DEO. He also, which was a huge reveal. Like I honestly was so surprised when this happened, and I was so happy at the same time because I didn't think they would do this. But they introduced a core Justice League member, which is Martian Manhunter, and he played him. So basically, That was huge. I was so excited and happy when that happened because when his eyes were glowing red in all the episodes, I was like, holy shit, this guy's gonna be some kind of alien terrorist. But he was actually one of my favorite DC characters, which is Martian Manhunter, and this is the first time I've ever seen him on screen too. So that was really awesome. And I really liked how they kind of intertwined him into the season. And overall, I think David Harewood did really well with this character too. And that's pretty much it for the characters in the show and the actors who played them. And now on to my kind of final thoughts about the actual season itself. Okay, so basically the villains in the show is basically Non and Indigo, which is basically Astra, which is Supergirl's aunt that kind of turned bad on Krypton, and she got sent to Fort Ross, which is a prison. And she basically comes back and tries to take over Earth, which almost every villain tries to do. But she ends up dying, and Non takes over, and Non wants to kill Supergirl. And then Indigo comes in, and she's basically like a female Brainiac, but she honestly, to me, her costume wasn't that great. She kind of just looked like basically a Talese version of Mystique, which I didn't really like. But she was okay. Obviously, I'm not a fan of her costume, but she did okay with her acting, which was fine with me, whatever. But basically, those are the two big bads. And throughout the season, it's not really one of those shows where there's going to be a lot of story. Really, there wasn't really a strong story at all. She was basically testing out her powers, learning about them, and kind of fighting different villains that kind of bring different aspects to her weaknesses and so on. And she was just kind of learning how to fight them all. And basically, every episode was basically like a new villain. That's basically what it was. There was barely any story to it. Like, there wasn't any kind of huge holy shit moments like in Flash where you got like mystery characters here and there and really deep story. This was basically just each week, just boom, Supergirl's here, new villain comes up, she tries to take him down, done. And then once Astra and Non got involved, that was a few episodes. So yeah, overall, they introduced some characters like Red Tornado, which I honestly hated that costume. That was absolutely horrible. I honestly think they would have done 100 times better with just kind of like a robot looking one, not paint a guy red. I hated that costume. But other than that, they introduced characters like Martian Manhunter. He was done really well. He looked phenomenal. Um, the action in this season was pretty good as well. Obviously, it's not going to be to the same caliber as like full movie blockbuster movies, but for a TV show, is pretty good. Um, yeah, overall, and they introduced a lot of really cool things too. Like we got White Martians, we got Martian Manhunter's backstory, which I really liked that episode. That was a whole episode dedicated to Martian Manhunter, and that was awesome. Um, there is one huge, massive story that they're gonna take care of in season two, which we kind of got introduced to in season one, which is Jeremiah Danvers is still alive, and he's working or he's captured in Cadmus, which we all know is some super evil uh, kind of thing. And that's going to be really cool to explore in season two, which I assume they're going to be filming because I think season one did pretty decent. But yeah, I can't wait for that. That's going to be really cool. I really hope season two starts branching out stories all over the place, like The Flash has done, because it'll be a lot more interesting than basically just a versus fight every episode. But yeah, overall, I liked the season. I wouldn't say it was amazing or anything. Like compared to like Daredevil, like that whole season was like one story. This was kind of just like boom, boom story each episode, which I kind of like and I kind of don't like. There's pros and cons to each one, but yeah, overall, I'll give this season of Supergirl season one a B, a B. Um, that's mainly because like it's the first season. They're kind of just getting the feel of how the rest of the seasons are gonna go. Like Flash season one, I probably would have gave a B or a B plus as well, but now it's going towards like an A or an A minus. So I hope Supergirl does the same, and I really, really hope they get Tom Welling or Wellings to play Superman in it. That'd be awesome because we got glimpses of Superman but never his face, and I really think it'd be awesome to get him back from Smallville. And one last thing I will say is the suit for Supergirl looks really good. It looks like it's taken inspiration from the Man of Steel movie, and like it's got the same kind of texture looking design, but the S is obviously the more comic book version of the S, which I can understand that. Like if they use the Man of Steel S, it would be kind of, I don't know, feel kind of weird in a TV show. But yeah, leave a comment below of what you guys thought about this season, and will you watch season 2? And what did you give it? I gave it a B, which I think is a fair rating, but leave a comment below of what you would give it. And thanks for watching this review, and stay tuned for more.